and someone give you a fiver, that would set you up for so much.
Who's this someone? It depends who's giving me the fiver.
I'm not talking about you getting groomed. I mean,
Well, you said someone's giving you a fiver. I used to walk home from school and go to the chip shop on a Friday. If a random stranger went, "Here's a fiver," I'd be like, "Perfect, I can get the chips and gravy." Learning, and after 13 years in government, you think that the Conservative Party would have learnt how to run the country. Callum, have they learnt yet?
Hi, Callum Scott here, Bedlam reporter, who was Forest Stage live from the Conservative Party conference here in Manchester, where I currently am right now.
Brilliant.
No.
Fantastic. Proud.
No, they haven't.
They haven't learnt. Welcome to the Bedlam podcast, a place of uproar and confusion. Well, tomorrow is the biggest general election in the last few decades. The polls say it's going to be a landslide victory for the Labour Party, but can the Conservatives and Reform UK spoil the party for Keir Starmer? There's no point in voting. They're all the same, and nothing's going to change anyway. A phrase that you may have heard thrown around at the office or at work, friends or family saying it in passing in the lead up to the general election. Repeated political scandals have been the public's distrust of the politicians and voter apathy increase. At the 2019 general election, roughly a third, which was 32.7% of the country, didn't vote. Since then, we've had scandals in both 10 Downing Street and the opposition's office. COVID locked the world down back in 2020, and Rishi Sunak introduced the furlough scheme and saved millions of jobs in the process. Keir Starmer stood opposite Boris Johnson time and time again to question the curve and the release of lockdown to get the economy back up and running. Boris and Rishi both refused to do this. But Rishi's main talking point of the general election is the economy. Well, as always, we're joined by Callum Scott to discuss the up-and-coming election tomorrow, and here he is now. And let's not discuss that this is the second time I'm trying to open this.
That was funny, though, to be fair.
But to be fair, right, every single time I press record on it, and it's happened the last few times, the computer's just gone, no, we're not going to do that.
Just doesn't like you very much.
No, I'm slowly starting to discover that. Slowly. Yeah. Hi, Callum. How are you?
I'm not bad. How are you?
Yeah.
Just deleting emails over the last couple of days because I don't like just sitting and watching them. I'm also trying to get my hands on the actual data for the Survation poll that's come out today, which we'll talk about. But yeah, other than that, I'm pretty good.
I mean, I am just trying to load that up now, but it doesn't seem to be working. There we are. Right, cool. So, as you've just mentioned, the Survation poll. So, I think we'll jump straight into it. So, tomorrow, general election. So, you need to go out and vote. Polls open at 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. You do need to take your ID. This is a big, massive talking point. ID, you need to take it. You don't need to take your polling card, but you can do. It will speed up the process, and then you will get given your ballot paper. You go over to the little ballot thing where and then there's a pencil in there. You put a cross in the box of who you want to choose for. The people at the polling station will tell you how many people you can vote for. Usually, it is just the one at a general election. Is the 2 ballot papers tomorrow, or is it just the one?
Just the one tomorrow.
Just the one. So, one person, unless stated. If you do mess up, you can just tell a member of staff. They will give you another ballot paper and they'll spoil the one that you've got. And then once you've done it, basically put it into the little ballot box and then just go about your day as normal.
And if there is nobody that you want to vote for, right, and you think, oh well, I'm still going to go. I still want to cast something. Just draw a little cock on it, because legally those still have to be counted.
Yeah, I just put a cross through the whole paper.
Or just write wanker next, or like rank them. So if you say you get 5 on the list for wherever you live, rank them 1 to 5 in the box.
And they won't be counted because they won't have a cross in the box.
Exactly. So put the cross in the box.
So we will jump straight into it. So we are going to do a live stream at possibly just before 10 o'clock. So we'll be here just before the polls close, and then basically we'll just be here to talk for about an hour or so, because it is quite late and we both do have full-time working jobs. But I'm guessing someone's taking Friday off.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I might try and do it. I don't know. To be fair, I'm not too bothered. I just rather work.
Well, I'm going to be doing it while working, so that's going to be my job. So I'm going to do whatever we're planning to do with you, which I'm not sure what it is at the minute. Are we doing the exit poll? And
I mean, we can do. We'll come. I think we'll come back live. So we'll go live on YouTube and on our Facebook page. And I think we'll go live at about 10 to 10. Have a little bit of a roundup of everything, because we can't talk about anything political until 10 o'clock. And then we'll jump straight into it, exit poll and stuff like that. And then just have a little bit of a chat and see what happens.
Word.
See what everyone's saying and stuff. But you may have heard something. Exit poll. What is an exit poll, Callum? Or what is a poll, just in general?
Well, an exit poll is different to a poll. A poll is votes counted by area or whatever. You do a poll. General nation poll would be a general election. But an exit poll is a poll paid for by all the media companies. So Sky, the BBC, and ITV pay the independent polling office to do an exit poll for every election, and they are estimations of what they think the final picture is going to look like through months and months of research. They are ridiculously accurate. Like, within the last 5 elections have been within 5 seats of the actual result. So when they say we think Labour are going to win and a landslide is likely, if they say that, that's going to be what happens, pretty much. The exit poll has had, some shocks in the past. We've been predicted a hung parliament before, and it's said that the Conservatives would win the majority. They then went and won that majority. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to watch.
So in the last hour, we have just had breaking news. The final MRP projection from Survation has come in. So they've interviewed 34,558 people. It's been conducted online and via the telephones. And they are predicting a landslide victory for Labour, who are going to take 484 seats in the House of Commons.
So I can't remember the exact number that Tony Blair got in 1997, but it was around those numbers.
So the headline coming out of it is that Labour are 99% certain to win more seats than in 1997. So today it is 2nd. So we are releasing this tomorrow, hence we can't on the 3rd, hence why we keep saying tomorrow. Just to
which is going to get really
people.
Confusing for me, because I'm like, it's not tomorrow.
So the headline from Survation says, with 2 days until polls open, Survation have predicted that Labour will win the 2024 general election with 484 seats out of the 650 seats. Conservatives and Liberal Democrats are in a close race to form the official opposition. These predictions come from a multi-level regression of post stratification model, which
Ooh.
uses data from 30,000 respondents to make seat level forecasts.
So,
Um,
1 second,
can,
because
can
what
we
was the number of
before
seats
we
there?
before we carry on, can we just get a round of applause for me? How did I manage to say that word?
I'm impressed. Massively impressed.
Thank you. Right, and end of the
So
podcast. See you later. Bye.
see you later, guys. Cheers. What was the oh Christ, what was the number of seats that Labour are projected to get?
484.
Just to put that into context, in 1997, Tony Blair's landslide Labour victory, they won 418.
And that was 13 percentage points ahead of the Conservatives.
Yes.
So just a quick rundown. So the rest of that surveyation for the final MRP projection, Conservatives are down to get 64 seats. Liberal Democrats are down to get 61 seats. So will they join an opposition if they get something similar?
So if it's that close, whoever gets more becomes the official opposition. And the Liberal Democrats with that number, I'm just looking at the full polling here. I promise I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to look at the full polling here. But so like the Lib Dems are projected to pick up quite a lot of true blue Conservative seats. So like Tunbridge Wells went Lib Dem in 2019 actually. So Lib Dem again from Conservative. We're looking at about 50 seats.
The middle of the UK looks very red.
So you know when they talk about the red wall,
That's it.
that's it. That's what they lost in 2019 when Boris swept in. That was the bit that he won, which gave him such a massive majority, because former to that, no Conservative leader had won those areas.
It's nuts. It absolutely nuts. And
So
if
Keir Starmer's
you're
done very well to win those back, thinking about it, because there was a lot to do. But in terms of this is really good polling because it shows you the estimated vote share. If you're really boring like me, that's really important because you can see just how close some of these areas are. So look at Skipton and Ripon. That's round our neck of the woods. Big blue slab. The estimated vote share is 33.4% Conservative and 31% Labour. So that could swing. That could very easily swing to Labour. So this could be worse than what it looks for the Conservatives, definitely.
And this isn't like opinion. So if some people are saying, "Oh, you're just like looking towards Labour," and that, this is fact. This is down to the fact of the surveyation polling. This is crazy. This is nuts. This is never been seen before situations and stuff like that. And it's not the greatest. It's not how Rishi Sunak wanted to be remembered. But I mean, as I said in the opening, no one has been very conservative heavy since all the scandals that have been coming out since COVID and stuff like that, and all the lies and everything that have been told. You know, everyone is falling out of love with certain people, and it's now becoming apparent. And this is what Labour have been shouting for the last year and a half, 2 years. You know, for them to actually call a general election, to actually have the public say on it. And when we say it's your decision, it is your decision. It's down to you. So, and it's not down to anyone else.
You know what's crazy, right? I'm looking at this surveyation poll, and and they have predicted that the Conservatives will gain no seats from any other party.
That's crazy.
They will only lose seats.
That is nuts. When you say it like that, that is nuts. Like nuts.
Labour will gain, they think, 37 from the SNP. Labour will gain 248 from the Conservatives. The Conservatives will hold, they think, 64. The Lib Dems will gain 3 from the SNP. The Greens will gain 2 from the Conservatives. Plaid Cymru will gain 2 from the Conservatives. The SNP will gain 2 from the Conservatives. Nowhere does it say where the Conservatives are going to gain anywhere.
Just out of curiosity, because we're both looking at this together, North Cornwall, the big massive yellow slab at the top of the foot at the bottom. It says currently the Liberal Democrats estimated vote share: Labour 16.8, Conservatives 24.1, Liberal Democrats 40.3. And that was a Conservative seat back in 2019.
Yeah.
That's a massive swing. Massive swing.
Well, look at... I could get lost looking at this polling, by the way, like, so stop me when you're bored.
But this just shows why it's important for people to go out and vote. Because if you're part of the 32% of the people that didn't go out and vote on the for the 2019 election, you know, this is what happens. You need to make your vote count, and you need to basically, it doesn't matter if the person that you vote for is not going to win. If you go out and vote, then at least you've gone out and voted and you've had your say, because your say could be that vital turning point, because in some areas it is very close and there is a swing.
Exactly. And people won't realise how close it is, right? And there have been times in the past where 1 vote or 10 votes or 15 votes have swung a whole seat.
Yeah.
So, you know, use your vote. It's important. Even if you don't care, vote for the one with the funniest name. If you have to, vote for the colour that you like.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're down south, Monster Raven Looney Party or Count Binface or all like that. I know that what's he called? Nico Amanala, the YouTuber, he's even standing and stuff like that. So you go do what you want to do. I mean,
Exactly.
as we say, it's your say.
It's your vote. You do what you want with it.
Right. So I mean,
Apart
in the
from
lead
not
up.
use it.
In the lead up, I did say something along the lines of why should I vote? So, and basically saying, why should I vote? Nothing changes anyway and stuff like that. So let's have a quick look back of over the years. Both changes brought by both Conservative and Labour governments.
Changes. Time to face the change.
So one of which was the NHS. The NHS was brought in by the Conservatives. So after 2 world wars, the UK was in desperate need of reconstruction and economic growth. The Labour leader, Clement Attlee,
Clem!
had been in a wartime correlation with Sir Winston Churchill's Conservatives up until 1945, but won a landslide majority that July. A key part of Labour's manifesto, Labour, my bad. That's what you get for not reading properly. A key part of Labour's manifesto was to let us face the future together. It was the creation of a welfare state, including a free health service. This followed the 1942 Beveridge report, complied by economist William Beveridge, on a new system of social insurance that would support people in times of hardship while helping to reconstruct society after the war. So yeah, the NHS has come from it. So there's some good things that will happen.
Well, exactly, and like look at. So everyone says that. So this is really boring. This highlights the depths of useless knowledge in my mind. But everybody thinks that Clement Attlee was the one behind the NHS. He wasn't. It was his health secretary, Nye Bevan. Thank you. Good night.
Another thing that came from it, so one of the hallmark economic policies of Margaret Thatcher's Conservative government
Boo! Sorry.
was the right to buy scheme, introduced as part of the Housing Act in 1980. The initiative meant council tenants could buy their homes at a significantly discounted price. It is still exists today, offering a 35% discount on homes for social tenants and between 3 and 5 years, or a maximum reduction of 70% or £102,400 for tenants of more than 5 years. After 7 years of it being brought in, the scheme had seen 1 million homes bought by their tenants. It's been widely credited with helping more people get onto the housing ladder and contribute to an increase in Conservative voters amongst the aspiring working class. By contrast, many, including the Labour Party, had argued it has severely depleted the supply of social housing for those in need, resulting in years-long waiting lists and hundreds of families in each local authority being housed in temporary hostels or bed and breakfast accommodation.
Yes, indeed. And now we're in a position where we've got an election where that on the housing front, houses are imaginary. Where Labour are saying we're going to build loads of houses, and everyone's saying where, and Labour are going, we're going to build loads of houses, guys.
Yeah, but as we found
great.
out in the last podcast, Conservatives said it as well.
They said it, but they've got a get out of jail free card for where they're going to build the houses.
Didn't they say we're going to build the right houses in the right places?
Yeah, that was a fabulously terrible line. I don't know who came up with that, but they are going to build the houses on the patches of land where they were originally going to build a railway line called HS2. But they've decided that they don't do it anymore.
Seriously? Did I say that in the last podcast?
Yeah.
I literally said we've got so much land that has been bought by the Conservatives and they're not using it for HS2. Oh my God, it's almost like they was watching the podcast.
I've got a very good piece of breaking news here coming from our friends at Sky News. I just want to lose, Tory tells Sky News as poll tips Labour to beat Blair's 1997 landslide.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
So the next thing on the list, minimum wage. So minimum wage came. So the national minimum wage was introduced by, go on, Callum.
The national minimum wage?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say that was New Labour.
In?
1990. Was that one of the first things they did in 1997?
It was correct.
Yes!
So the national minimum wage was introduced by Tony Blair's new Labour government in 1997 after it appeared as a key pledge in the election manifesto. It came into effect. It came into effect on the 1st of April 1999.
What a year.
So based on the idea of universal basic income, Labour argued it would reduce inequity and stop the exploration of workers. Previous Labour governments had been opposed to the idea, fearing it would reduce the need for trade union memberships and possibly I can't do this no more. I'm speaking. I've got too many big words. Too many. Disinsensitize employers to pay I don't know. It's got a V in it somewhere.
Yes.
To pay anything above the legal requirement. It has since, however, received cross-party consensus and was updated by David Cameron's Chancellor George Osborne in 2016. He implemented a higher national living wage for workers over 25, which was reduced to 23 in 2021. Both the minimum and living wage are legal requirements, while Mayor of London Boris Johnson introduced a London living wage to reflect the higher cost of living in England's capital. It began just for City Hall workers and contractors, but has since been adopted by employers across the city on a voluntary basis. I think it's a good thing. Very good thing.
I agree.
Another thing which has come across is one thing that you'll probably be massive on. So it's the Good Friday Agreement. So devolution in Northern Ireland was a far more complex process than in Scotland and Wales because of the Troubles. Tensions between Republican and Unionist communities resulted in more than 3,000 people being killed in Northern Ireland from the 1960s onwards. Although there have been some dialogue among Irish politicians beforehand, US President Bill Clinton, with the help of his special envoy George Mitchell and Labour's Tony Blair and his Northern Ireland Secretary Molan,
she was a legend,
are widely credited for paving the way to the Good Friday Agreement. So it's two agreements, the multi-party agreement and the British-Irish agreement were signed in by Northern Ireland's political parties and the British and Irish governments respectively on the 10th of April 1998. They were then put in to the public in referenda in Northern Ireland and the Republic on the 22nd of May. The Good Friday Agreement resulted in the power-sharing executive at Stormont, a ceasefire between the parliamentary groups, and the release of hundreds of parliamentary prisoners. It also saw a considerable drop in violence in the following decades. The power-sharing agreement means both sides must be represented in government. So if one side resigns, the whole executive dissolves, and has occurred several times since the Good Friday Agreement.
Which is why only recently Northern Ireland has had any sort of political voice, because Sinn Féin, the Irish Republican side of the politics in Northern Ireland, won the election, and the DUP, the Unionists, the ones that want to be British, didn't want to go into power sharing, which is not how power sharing works. You sort of have to. And they just said, no, we're not doing it. So the whole executive broke down. There was nobody in. People were elected to seats, but were not. It's like if nobody turned up to the House of Commons, that was what was happening.
DUP famously came in when came famous when they helped David Cameron, didn't they?
Helped to smash Theresa May over the line as well.
Yeah,
she did a deal with them, which you can't do. You can't do a deal with one of the two power brokers in Northern Ireland, because then it looks like you're picking a side, which they did. But to be fair, to go just on what you were just talking about, right? And I don't think this is going to work. And if I'd have thought this through, I would have put it in the thing so that we could play it for everybody, right? And I didn't think it through because I didn't think we were going to be talking about this. But you will still be able to hear it, I'm sure. Because there was Gordon Brown's speech about.
Can I just say something while you're trying to fill? Is it a video that you can send me on WhatsApp?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because if you could send it on WhatsApp, I could quickly put it in. But if you want to go for the unprofessional approach, then go for it.
Can I? If I save the video, right? If I save the video, hang on. Oh, we could be on for something here. Oh, this could be quality. Right, I've saved it. Right, wait. Oh, this is high stakes podcasting. This is high stakes.
So while Callum does that, we'll go into the last point. So the last one.
Send it right now. Doing it right now. It's doing it right now. Woo!
So the last one that came in was the Marriage of Same-Sex Couples Act in 2013. It gave same-sex couples a legal right to marry from 2014. It was introduced by Conservative Prime Minister David Cameron, who has since credited his wife Samantha for encouraging him to preserve with
Sorry.
Building on civil partnerships for same-sex couples introduced by Labour in 2004. Hang on, how do I save it?
Oh, this is high stakes. Yes, Samantha Cameron is not widely credited with the introduction of gay marriage. That was a David Cameron decision. After a lot, people didn't realise quite how much anger there was at that decision at the time. Was it put to a referendum? I can't remember. Oh.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so it's
you asked.
Credit his wife, Samantha, for encouraging him to preserve with the legislation, building on civil partnerships for same-sex couples introduced by Labour in 2004. The new act closed remaining legal loopholes that existed between them and marriages. Lord Cameron faced
Lord Cameron, I forgot about that.
Vehement opposition from several religious groups, politically of the Church of England, as well as more traditional members of his own party. It was seen as a huge departure for traditional conservative views on same-sex marriage, given to Margaret Thatcher's Section 28. Nearly got them muddled up then. Section 28 of the local.
Margaret May.
Section 28 of the Local Government Act, which banned schools from promoting homosexuality. Many couples arranging their marriage from the first day the legislation was in force to mark a historic change in their rights. In Northern Ireland, from the 7th of February 2020, same-sex couples in a civil partnership have been able to upgrade their legal status by getting married. Go on, Callum.
Right. So the central question here is, why should I vote, right? And whether you're blue or whether you're red or whatever you are, and yes, this is a Labour speech taken from a Labour conference, but this is a good catalogue of everything that the Labour Party achieved from 1997 up till 2010, right? Or just before, because Gordon Brown was leader. But this is why you should go out and vote.
If anyone says that to fight doesn't get you anywhere, that politics can't make a difference, that all parties are the same, then look at what we have achieved together since 1997. The winter fuel allowance, the shortest waiting times in history, crime down by a third, the creation of Sure Start, the cancer guarantee, record results in schools, more students than ever, the Disability Discrimination Act, devolution, civil partnerships, peace in Northern Ireland, the social chapter, 500,000 children out of poverty, maternity pay, paternity leave, child benefit at record levels, the minimum wage, the ban on cluster bombs, the cancelling of debt, the trebling of aid, the first ever Climate Change Act. That's the Britain we've been building together. That's the change we choose.
To be fair, that was very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And to be fair, right, I've not seen Rishi Sunak do anything as powerful as that.
I don't. Yeah, but then again, I don't think I've seen Keir Starmer do anything as powerful as that.
No.
Like his conference speeches are always good, but there's one big gaping hole that's been an attack line by the Conservatives throughout all of this election, which is good, but how? Tell us how.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what people really, really want and stuff like that, is just for people just to say, look, how are you going to change stuff? I've just seen now this. The Conservatives have released a last-minute campaign video, supposedly set a year from now under a Labour government. Tell me if you can hear it.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Dad, who's online today? reached for comment. Power cuts are expected across Britain throughout the day as the country is hit by Russia's energy cut-off. Our special economic correspondent has more information.
I think we're going to have to cancel the holiday. I know. We just can't afford it anymore.
Sorry. What do they think is happening in the country now? Do they think that everybody can currently afford their energy bills and all of their bills, and that people can afford to go on all the holidays that they want to go on?
I just think it's very bizarre. It's playing again in my ear. Stop.
Ah! It's all in your head.
But I just don't. I just don't understand it. I just don't get it, because it's just like, all the Conservatives seem to do is just attack against Labour, and it's just like, just
Their
look at
line has
your own
changed,
party.
though, hasn't it? Their line
Yeah.
has changed, though, hasn't it? Because they've gone from wanting to win to realizing they can't win. And then they've gone from realizing that they can't win to realizing, oh my God, we're going to lose really, really, really badly. So now the line has gone from vote Conservative for change, or whatever it was at the start, and then it's gone vote Conservative to stop Labour. Now it's vote Conservative to stop a Labour supermajority. They might as well say vote Conservative for a laugh. See what happens. It'd be funny, won't it?
I'm just mega confused. I've just seen another thing that's come up from the Conservatives page. I'll look on Labour and see if they've done anything as well. But this has just come on.
The coronavirus has hit the UK.
Putin announced
Is this
the
from Labour?
military operation just before 3 a.m.
Conservatives.
More than 700 Israelis are now feared dead.
Russia
after
is now
attacks
placing
by
its economy
Hamas.
on a war
Breaking
footing.
news,
China
in a major
and
escalation
Russia
of the crisis in the
reaffirmed
Middle
there are
East,
no limits for
Iran has started a direct attack on Israel.
I came to office above all to restore economic stability. This hard-earned economic stability was only ever meant to be the beginning. The question now is how and who do you trust to turn that foundation into a secure future for you, your family, and our country. Now is the moment for Britain to choose its future. Put record amounts of funding into our NHS. They're stopping the boats with our Rwanda bond, and we will ensure that the next generation grows up smoke-free. We prioritised energy security, and we fully funded an increase in defence spending to 2.5% of GDP. These uncertain times call for a clear plan and bold action to chart a course to a secure future. Who has that plan? Who is prepared to take the bold action necessary to secure a better future for our country and our children? Over the next few weeks, I will fight for every vote. I will earn your trust, and I will prove to you that only a Conservative government led by me will not put our hard-earned economic stability at risk. I hope that my work since I became Prime Minister shows that we have a plan and are prepared to take bold action necessary for our country to flourish. Because I'm guided by doing what is right for our country, not what is easy.
Now, I understand that they are in charge of our country, and basically tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, it stops. And
technically, it has already stopped.
Oh yeah, technically it has. Yeah. Sorry, technically it has. So technically, but they are the ones that are currently in charge of office. And if anything like say happened tonight, then they will be the ones that had to react to it. And I just don't get. I understand the fact that they are the ones that are basically like, look, this is what we are doing, and we've got a clear plan for it and stuff like that. And it's taken a while for Labour to actually come to the understanding of basically saying that this is what we're doing. But it's almost like Conservatives came out straight away and was just like, this is what we're doing, and then gone, oh no, wait, hang on a second, and had to sort of backtrack away from it. But then Labour have just thought about it, and then come out and done it.
So I made a comment on here at the start of the election campaign saying that we needed to hear more from Labour in terms of actual policy. Yeah. And what I thought would happen then was that we'd get the policy, and some people wouldn't like it, some people would like it, and the trend of the polling would stay roughly the same, that big Labour win, but not this sort of Labour win. Whereas what's happened is Labour have gone away and done the costing and done the thinking behind all of the policy. And they've presented these policies, they've dropped them sort of key points, really. You know, they've not been caught up in the TV debates of going, well, we're going to do this then, so shut up. You know, they've not done that. They've stuck to a plan, released a manifesto, and everyone's just run with it. And now Labour are on course for a super majority, and you know the Conservatives are in real danger of being the third biggest party in the country behind the Liberal Democrats. Which, by the way, we should say, for the Liberal Democrats, would be a massive result for them. Huge. For them to be the official opposition, massive.
I bet.
Oh, hello. Oh, it's just me. Right. So, going from my left, your right, we have Nigel Farage. That's that side. Nigel Farage there. Yeah. Reform. Yeah. Oh, you're back. Hello. Oh. In fact, we'll go from this side as well. Is Stephen Flynn, the leader of the SNP. I believe that's Carla Denyer, the leader of the Greens. That one there is Run Ap Iorwerth, the leader of Plaid Cymru. Then Penny Mordaunt, Angela Rayner, and I've forgotten her name. Daisy Cooper, I think. Yeah, Daisy Cooper, the vice chair of the Liberal Democrats. Thank you very much. Good night. Oh, it's your Twitter feed. This is really good. Oh, you've lost your head, mate. You've lost your head. We'll cut this bit out.
Can you imagine how this is going to go live on YouTube and Facebook? He's just going to be continuously me dropping out or you dropping out, and us both just having to just go, look at the background of my background.
Look at the leaders and vice leaders of the largest political parties in the country. Thank you.
Right. So I'm going to play two videos now, and I think this is the reason why my computer froze, because of I'm screen sharing and it's not a proper a video file. So I'm going to play two videos. I'm going to go back to back. We're going to do what Labour have put out 2 hours ago on their Twitter feed, and I think it's just basically slandering everything that the Conservatives have ever done. And then I'll play the video that they put out on the 22nd of May, which is basically it's a time for change. So we're going to go back to back. So hold on to your horses. We'll mute Callum again so you don't hear him just laughing his head off in the background.
If this is Labour, I'll probably be...
But yeah, we'll go back to back. So we'll see you in a sec.
Don't forget what they have done. Don't forget Partygate. Don't forget the COVID contracts. Don't forget the lies, the cronyism, the division, the scapegoating of minorities, the failure to invest, the trips to the bookies, the decimation of your public services. telling working people we're all in it together. The people who hurt your family finances, swanning around in the House of Lords after giving tax cuts to the richest 1% who crashed our economy. Don't forget any of it. Vote Labour on Thursday and the work of change begins. Vote for change. Vote Labour.
It's time for change. Britain is a great and proud country. But after 14 years under the Tories, nothing seems to work anymore. Public services crumbling, ambulances that don't come, families weighed down by higher mortgage rates, antisocial behaviour on our high streets. The list goes on and on. Political chaos feeding decline, feeding chaos, feeding decline. The answer is not 5 more years of the Tories. They have failed. Give the Tories 5 more years and things will only get worse. Britain deserves better than that. Only a changed Labour Party will get Britain's future back. And make no mistake, the Labour Party has changed, reconnected to our purpose, to serve working people as you drive our country forward, with economic stability at the forefront of everything we do. Country first, party second, always. And that is what Labour's long-term plan will achieve. Replace decline with national renewal, to get Britain working, building, growing again, switch on great British energy, get our NHS back on its feet, take back our streets, break down the barriers to opportunity. So after 14 years, it's time for change. Stop the chaos, turn the page, start to rebuild. Vote Labour.
I take back what I previously said about Keir Starmer. That was fabulous.
See, the thing that I don't get is that you just watch like the Conservative thing and it's full on like heavy metal rock music and this, that, and blah,
Labour
blah, blah.
is shit. Labour is shit. We're all gonna die. You're gonna have to. Your kids are gonna be at home. They're gonna be under your feet at home. You're not gonna be able to go for a bath because your kids are gonna be there. You can't slope off for a quiet moment to yourself, if you know what I mean. Like you could in the good old days when your kids were at school. Can't do that anymore because Labour are in power and your kids are at home. You can't go on holiday. Can't go to an all-inclusive. You can't do that. It's just wrong.
And
the tone right.
My thing is, so since we've been doing this podcast over the last couple of weeks and months, you know, the last 6 weeks of the build up to this, there is going to be change. And we've seen it before, the whole through the COVID sort of lot, the war in Ukraine and Russia, the war with, between, in Gaza and stuff like that. The media have a massive output and you will only see what the media put out for you. And there's a lot of like scaremongering along it all. Yes, there is going to be change if tomorrow or on Friday it is announced that the Conservatives are out of government and the Labour are in. There's going to be a massive change, but nothing is going to change straight away. It's going to be a gradual change. Things will change. They'll get better. They'll get worse. And, you know, they'll get better and get worse in the way that sort of you think. So whereas like Callum may think it's getting better, I may think it's getting worse. Where I think it's getting better, Callum may think it's getting worse. And
as we've realised quite quickly doing this podcast, things can only get better.
I'm not playing it. I'm not playing it.
Boo!
I'm not playing it. I'm not playing it. I'm not playing it.
Can only get better.
But yeah, obviously things will change, and we don't know which way it's going to go. We really do not know which way it's going to go, because we've seen before, promises have been made in manifestos, and we've voted for, when I say we, I don't mean me and Callum. I mean like the whole of the country, the people that can vote. We have chosen a person or a government to come in to serve us, to do us well, and to right us and to not wrong us. And that's our choice as a democracy, that we bring those people in to serve us and to serve the king, to serve the crown, and basically to help us get to the next stage in our lives. And younger people that are going to vote and stuff like that, they may have different morals and different ways and different reasons behind what they're voting for compared to an elderly person and stuff like that. And you just got to remember, it will change. Things will change. It doesn't matter who's going to come in and take over that government. It will change. So there's no right or wrong about it. There's no right or wrong of who you choose or whatever. On Friday, when you rock up to work, if someone turns around to you and says, "Who did you vote for?" It doesn't matter. You don't need to tell people what you vote for. You don't need to say anything. You don't have to have sit and have an opinion with it and have a debate over it, because political sort of conversations can cause fallouts and mass fallouts. And me and Callum have had a lot of conversations, and we're still here talking about it now, because we understand that I can have an opinion and Callum can have an opinion, and as long as you've got something to back it up. And there's been more times where I haven't had an opinion to back it up, and I've just said something out of an opinion, and then Callum has literally just slated me, and I've just like hung up on him.
That doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. But we understand each other very well.
True.
So, go out, vote for who you want to bring in, and it has to be for who you want in, not for who Betty next door wants to bring in and stuff like that. You've got to do it on your own moral and your own right, and it's your freedom of free speech to be able to do that. It's the reason why we're a democracy. So, do what you wish. Anyway, I'm out.
Mic drop there. That was wonderful. In fact, yeah.
But it is, and it's just the whole thing that really pisses me off and really riles me up and stuff like that is the media scaremongering people into it, and like the Conservative Party scaremongering you into, if you vote for Labour, this is what's going to happen, or Labour saying this is what's going to happen if you keep Conservative in charge. It doesn't matter either way. It's going to change. It's going to be different. Everything is going to feel different. It's not an instant overnight change.
Can I, going back to what you've just said, can I disagree with you, please?
Go ahead.
Because if the Conservatives win tomorrow, actually nothing changes.
You never know. You don't know what is going to happen.
We still pursue this aggressive foreign policy. The Rwanda scheme gets even more backing. The economic plan that I'm not even sure what's going on with it anymore remains in place. It's more of the same, which is why I think Labour have done well with this this simple line of change, because they have the ability to do different. We've had 14 years of the Conservatives. How different could it really be? Not very, but with the Labour government coming in, having had to change itself in the last years anyway, and change within itself and then reflect that changed face to the electorate, then that has the potential to change a great many things.
I think if the Conservatives do come back into power, staying along the same word of change, they need to change the way that they act and change the way that they progress and show things in the public eye. They can't just sit back and just hope that it happens through the House of Commons. They have to actually listen to people, because it's us that puts them into power. you know, over the next couple of weeks and stuff like that, when it all dies down, we can break it down and stuff like that. I know that we've got a few people lined up that are going to come on, that like Conservatives and Labour and stuff like that, and we can break it down. We can have a chat with them and put it to them and stuff like that. I don't think one of them probably will want to talk about politics, and we'll but you know, you never know. We can always ask the question in the background and or in the back channel and see what they want to talk about and stuff. If they don't, then we're not going to sit and press. If we get people on that are political, such as like former MPs or anything like that, if they don't want to talk about, if they don't want to talk about a subject, we're not going to push them to talk about that topic. We're not Sky News. We're not Sky News.
I might a little bit.
Yeah, but it's just one of those.
I understand that, right? And that is they're well within their rights to do that. I understand, but you know the people that will remain quite secret until it actually happens that we've asked are not quiet little mice, are they? They're quite opinionated people anyway.
I think I don't know which one that you're aiming towards.
The one that's round by you.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Quite fucking opinionated.
Right. I've not reached out to her yet, but.
Oh right, I thought that was the one that you tried to reach out to by the medium of Twitter.
Oh yes, I did, but I didn't make it official. I didn't officially ask her because the two people that came back to me said no. So I thought, well, she's not going to risk you.
No, that's true.
No, one of the people is I don't think I can. I don't know. I can't. The person that you put on your Twitter earlier on, not on your Twitter, on your Snapchat. That was one of them, and he was very open about coming onto the podcast, but didn't mention that he wanted to talk political, as you may see from the response that we got on the email. And then the other one that I don't quite know how to describe, but is local to here, and local to where I used to work. They basically said, or their member of staff basically said, we're busy, and didn't say anything about afters, which I'll reach out to again after.
We're very busy. Leave me alone.
Yeah, that wants to come on and stuff like that, but it would have been nice. Put it that way.
Just want to see if the email's still there because I haven't read it yet.
It will be. I've not deleted anything from it.
I haven't read it yet. Oh yeah. That's quite nice.
Yeah.
I don't think he deserves people putting things on his signs.
Yeah, and then did you see the other reply? They almost replied at the same time, which is very frightening. But one of them replied themselves, and then the other replied with a member of their team. Which probably shows the political power that they have in their constituency.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well, because we have done, at the very worst time, we've gone, the busiest week of your electoral life. Do you fancy coming and doing a podcast?
But one of them replied themselves, and the other one, it was the team that replied.
Yeah, true. And it wasn't the ones that you'd think. I'd have thought that would have been the other way around.
Exactly. But so did I. But I also thought that the one where the team member replied, I thought that candidate would have got back in touch personally and said, look, I can't come on right now, Tom, but after I'll come on and we'll have a chat.
Yeah, fine. Totally brilliant. Let's do that. But, we could just start harassing them.
I'm not going to do that, mate.
Yeah, no, me neither. I don't have time. Got things to be doing.
But one massive talking point before we go, the postal, the So the postal vote is one of the biggest of this year. And, well, as by the little banner at the bottom, it's been a little bit of a cock-up.
Again.
So it's being said that the Royal Mail has blamed the government for voters not receiving their postal ballots ahead of Thursday's election. So this is something that usually gets sent out weeks in advance, and basically you cast your vote to make it a little bit easier on yourself. So, for instance, if you're a lorry driver or something like that, or you're in the armed forces or whatever, you can have the postal vote. I think armed forces, you can have someone vote on your behalf. And so on and stuff like that. And it's been very popular this year. So they basically said that there's no backlog in the system. So earlier on Tuesday, Conservative member Maria Caulfield told Sky News the government is urgently investigating why some people have still not received their postal votes just 2 days before the election. There are reports of thousands of postal votes not being delivered in time, with Postal Affairs Minister Kevin Hollinrake calling on Royal Mail to do all they can to make sure postal votes get to people in time. More than 90 constituencies, including those of cabinet ministers, have raised concerns about ballots failing to arrive, according to the Telegraph. But Royal Mail said it is delivering postal votes as soon as they arrive in its network, and have called for a review of how the printing and administration of postal votes is handled before the ballot papers are given to the Royal Mail. A Royal Mail spokesperson has said, we have no backlog of postal votes, and whilst we are not complacent, we remain confident that postal votes handed to us on time will be delivered prior to polling day. Where specific concerns have been raised, we have investigated and confirmed ballot packs are being delivered as soon as they arrive in our network. We would welcome a review into the timetable for future elections with all stakeholders to ensure that the system for printing and administrating postal votes before they are handed to the Royal Mail works as smoothly as possible.
Woo!
Yeah. I mean, it's a concern. It's always going to be a concern because, you know, as we say, freedom of speech, right to speech, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's a bit shit that they're not going to get the chance to do it.
So, yeah, and this isn't the first time that this has happened, but quite a lot of the time, you might see, especially tomorrow night, you might see Conservative MPs that are on the news and they're watching seats fall and fall and fall. They might turn around and just go, well, obviously, as we also had the postal voting thing. That was bad. You know, so if you can find a scapegoat, by all means, use it. And that's exactly what I think they're going to do. This is sort of laying the seeds for that, and I might put a bet on that actually happening.
I mean, it'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it? It's definitely going to happen. Definitely going to happen. But yeah. And finally, we're going to move on to who should I vote. So tomorrow, when you step up into that polling booth, who should you go for? Well, let's just have a brief look over the little like campaigny sort of trail things. So Labour's, go on, Callum.
So Labour have been championing this message of change and rebuilding from 14 years of Conservative government. So Labour have gone with Keir Starmer will build a better Britain, which is a good line if you want a better Britain and you think that Labour can deliver that for you.
I think it's all on subject to opinion, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. Well, all of this is, and obviously we're not going to sit here and say, well, you definitely should. But we're not newspapers, you know, we don't endorse one party here at the Bedlam podcast. We're open. We're a broad church and we're open to everybody.
And the next paper is Conservative. So as it says on the tin, as I've always done throughout COVID and the lead up to being let back out of the pen, clear plan, bold action, secure future.
Conservatives always fans of the 3 bullet point slogan. Stay home, protect the NHS, save lives. Clear plan,
Yeah.
bold action, secure future.
But that was our Dominic Cummings, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. He's been banished.
All Boris's ideas throughout that were, because of Dominic Cummings. Nothing ever came from
Boris's ideas throughout that were just chips.
Are we going to give you a blue passport?
Blue. I had steak and oven chips.
And they
great
cooked
times.
it blue.
Great times, honestly. I think Liz Truss had something similar, but yeah. Reform, the party you love to hate, but quite a lot of people love at the moment, as they're gaining popularity. Not enough popularity to make a massive difference, but
I do think it's, to be fair, no. In the polls, no, they've not made a massive difference, like on paper, of how many seats they've got. But the amount of seats that they've managed to take away from Conservatives.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the difference that they're making. And to be fair, that's better than that they could have expected at the start of the campaign. So if Nigel Farage does end up winning Clacton, that is big moves, because Nigel Farage will be in Parliament.
That's going to be fun. I think that's going to be the best thing that happens, just having him in Parliament and Prime Minister's questions every Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be entertainment.
Yeah,
they've gone with a very similar to Trump's attack line, "Make America Great Again." They've gone with "Let's make Britain great." Note how they've not used the word "again," insinuating that Britain has never been great, and you need reform to make it great.
Oh, we're halfway to making it great already.
Yeah, which doesn't make much sense in the current climate, but we can go with it. It's fine. I'm sure they spent not a lot of money and not a lot of time thinking about this slogan. Oh, you're frozen.
Slogan. Here's yeah, I'm back. Hello, can you see me?
I can now. You frozen, then everything happened all at once.
Yeah. So the last one, Liberal Democrats, he's done absolutely everything to be in the public figure. He's been
it's been wonderful.
He's been interviewed in the lake, everything like that.
Bungee jumping today. He was surfing in Cornwall.
Ed David has done absolutely everything he can possibly do to be seen as the people's person, and he's just a lovely guy. Absolutely lovely guy. And I think I might write him down as to be the person that I reach out to for Lib Dems.
He is the people's champion, and his party will not win the election, but they've had a good time doing it.
Yeah, they've absolutely nailed it. And as they've literally put, for a fair deal, and I think the photos or the little clip art things in there, you can see a health symbol, a couple actually, like doctors, arts, musicians, Big Ben, rail. You've got the economy, Arsenal. You've got a gunner there. You've got lamps. We need to fair deal for lamps and pens.
Fair deal for Pixar.
Babies and education and
the world with some money next to it.
Piggy banks, leaves.
Balloons, a fair deal for balloons.
Doors.
A fair deal for pens.
A fair deal for calculators. No, they've done great. I think
a little man with circles for hands and circles for legs.
No, they've done great. As Callum says, they're not going to win the election. They're not going to come anywhere near close. It's been a landslide for one party in particular. They've done all that they can do to try and steal those seats away that Conservatives are going to lose. And so Reform. But at the end of the day, there is only going to be one party that can be in charge of this country. And we'll find out. We will find out tomorrow when the polls open. They close at 10, as we say. Don't forget, do not turn up without a form of ID because you're going to need it. So please take a form of ID. Go vote. Even if you don't vote, just go show up. Just put a mark on that piece of paper and hand it in. Easy peasy. It's 5 minutes out of your day. As long as you are in the queue before 10 p.m., you'll be able to cast your vote. And we'll see who the first constituency is to get their
Sunderland.
their votes
Always
counted. Oh, it's Sunderland. They love it. They absolutely love it. 11 o'clock. You never know. Are they going to get their votes in by the time that we end our live stream on Thursday?
And a lot of people, if you're like me or the same age as me and weren't a nerd as a child, this will be the first election that you may remember properly. So a little run through of the way things will work. Polls will close at 10 o'clock. The exit poll, the Ipsos, or is whatever it is, exit poll comes out at 10 p.m. bang on. And then counting starts and will go throughout the night. But it will be concluded by around, normally for general elections, you know, like in local elections, they say, oh, some ones are counted on Saturday and some are counted on Friday. And we'll just keep going. That doesn't happen with general elections. They are all counted in that one night. So we will know by around 5 o'clock in the morning whether what? Oh, God, what?
Rishi Sunak correctly says the price of bread is £1.35 in Morrison's.
Play the song. Play the song. Play the song. Tom, play the song.
I think on that note, thanks for watching. Our socials are in the end credits. And we'll see you here live tomorrow at 10 to 10 with the exit poll at 10 o'clock.
Woo!
On. So we'll see you later. If you're not there, be square.
She's not there.